Am I the asshole for ruining my daughter's in-law's birth plan? I need some opinions on the situation. My son and daughter-in-law are staying with me at the moment. Their house is being fixed due to a flooding issue that happened about a week ago. A fire hydrant broke and flooded the houses nearby. Due to this, their homes need some of the floors replaced, and it's not safe for them to be there while contractors deal with damage. My daughter-in-law is supposed to give birth to her first kid at the beginning of next month, and their home will not be fixed in time. They've been staying with me and set up a little nursery in the guest bedroom. My home's not that big. I downsized years ago, so I live in a 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom home. I learned this weekend that she was planning on having a water home birth and a midwife during it. I thought she was going to the hospital, but that apparently wasn't the plan. She plans to have the kid in basically a blown up pool that goes in the house. The only 2 places that it will fit are the living room and if I move my bed in the master bedroom. I thought about it and I'm not comfortable with that happening in my home. I told her this and she was pissed. We got in an argument and she's mad that I ruined her birth plan. My son wants me to apologize and have it here. Here's my take on it. People have like contractual obligations. Like whenever you have friends, whenever you talk to people, when you have relationships in general, what ends up happening is there are a lot of agreements that you may or may not choose to accept. Now, some of those things can be things that are fine to disagree on. Some of those things, apparently, like something like this, is not. I don't think that I don't think the daughter-in-law is really in any position to be asking for something like that whenever it's not really her house, it's not her. And I get that like she wants something like that, but she can have something like that in a different house. You know what I mean? Because it's not common knowledge that every single human being in the world is going to be having a birth in the middle of a living room. You know what I mean? That's just like a surprise. Surprise! I'm going to completely change your home. I'm gonna mess up everything. Like, no. You're not the asshole for wanting them to do that. At least somewhere else, you know what I mean? So yeah, not the asshole. Will I be the asshole for telling my wife to go to rehab so she doesn't affect our baby's life? My wife and I see. He's 26, she's 23. I had a baby 6 weeks ago. An adorable daughter. I'm writing this post to see if I'm over-exaggerating or if I'm valid for the ways I see things. When I meet my wife, I know she likes to drink. She would drink every night, 3 to 4 beers or cocktails on average after work, and more on the weekends if she went out with her friends. She didn't think she was an alcohol because she didn't drink during the day. Thankfully, she never gets nasty when she drinks. She's actually really warm and bubbly, and a version I like, even if it's not real. She had a rough upbringing and always talks so hard about how she wants to break the cycle. Her dad left, her mom was mentally ill and treated her like literal trash. She's dealt with a lot of flashbacks, and I noticed when those get worse, she would drink more. When she got pregnant, she didn't drink. She struggled in the beginning, but I tried to be as supportive as I could. 1 week after she had our daughter, my family brought over some wine to celebrate, and that's when it started again. Now she's back to drinking 2 to 3 glasses of wine or drinks a night. At first it was a few times a week, but now it's pretty much nightly. I had a talk with her last night and told her how she can't slip like this back into old habits. She says she's not, and she's just doing it to relax at night and not get hammered. Then she brings up my occasional party favor usage, which is a few times a year's max, which felt like deflecting. So I told her to look into going to rehab, but she says the baby needs her and she can't do that. First and foremost, yes you can. You can go to rehab and you can also have your kid like come and visit and like you can get your shit together. I personally have had like a really bad life myself. I'm not fucking trauma dumping. Having bad things happen to you sucks, but it's not an excuse to self-destruct. It's just not. I mean, it feels like it's acceptable. It feels like, well, I have an excuse. You know what I mean? My life sucks. I had bad things happen to me. I I should be allowed to drink whenever I want. And you know what? You are allowed to drink whenever you want. But you have to accept that you're going to lose people. You're going to lose your husband. You're going to lose your daughter. You're going to lose family, probably. I mean, your family seems like they're not very great. But you know what? You know what I mean. Point is, no. He's not the asshole whatsoever for wanting his daughter to have a better life. And if anything, she's an asshole for saying she can't do that. Am I the asshole because I didn't wake my friend up when she had an important meeting? Me and my friend lived together for 3 years now. She has no job, and today she had an appointment at some place, not a job interview, where they talk about her future and stuff. I'm moving to my boyfriend's next month, and she struggles with money and her mental health, and for that, this appointment was important. I'm working from home, starting at 6 a.m., so I went to her room at 9, like she asked me to yesterday, to wake her up. She said another time. I called her 5 times because my feet is sprained and walking is tricky right now. On the phone, she said I should just wake her up again after my meeting at 11 a.m. Problem with that, with the meeting came a whole wave of calls to me and I couldn't just leave. To be honest though, I also forgot in that moment that I could just call her and I wasn't sure when her appointment would start. So after work, she was going smooth again and I went to her room. She was already up and in the bathroom. I went to my office again and suddenly she came in asking angrily if I didn't wake her up after my 11 a.m. meeting. I told her no because I had a call. Turns out her appointment was at 1 p.m. And then she took her weed stuff, went to her room and slammed the door. I feel like this is the biggest asshole, but at the same time I feel a bit angry because I'm not her caretaker. But then I did agree to wake her up after my meeting and I didn't. This is hard. This one's really hard. And it's only hard because you sort of led her on in a sense, where you're like, yes, I will help you. And, you know, the first time, yes, I'll help you. And then the second time, call her 5 times. You try to help her. She says, oh, well, just wake me up after 11. Just say no. I'm not going to do that. I can't. I mean, and if you genuinely thought that you would have time and like that matters to you, then yeah, say, yeah, I'll do that. But don't be upset whenever somebody else gets upset that you said yes, you would do something and then you don't do it. That being said, I'm noticing with the way that she sort of words things, she tries to deflect a lot. I don't know how to describe it. It's something that people do, like whenever they talk passively. She says, I called her 5 times because my foot is sprained and walking is tricky right now. Which, that's not really, like, that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whether or not you called her or you went in there and knocked on the door or whatever. You're saying that because you feel judged. You feel like somebody is judging you and you feel like you need to explain something before somebody has even said anything about it. Nobody asked whether or not your foot was sprained, but you want to immediately give context because if there's any ambiguity, you feel like people are going to immediately assume that you're an asshole. Well, that's just not true. You're not really too big an asshole. You're kind of a little bit of an asshole, but also she seems like she's kind of an asshole too. Am I an asshole for getting upset that a woman pulled my arm? I mean, just from the title alone, no? Question mark? So I was in line at a pastry shop and all of a sudden a woman came from my left, grabbed my arm firmly and pulled herself up to the higher level up to the shop window. I was stunned and said loudly, "What's your problem, lady?" She didn't even look at me. Note that she was young, maybe in her 30s, woman who seemed perfectly normal. So she wasn't an old woman who could barely walk or something. Also note that the woman didn't say anything or even look at me. She just grabbed my arm and almost pulled me down to get herself up. It doesn't matter whether or not she was old or not old, or it genuinely, even if an old woman came up and did that, it doesn't matter. That's your body. They don't know. What if you have an arm that falls off whenever somebody looks at it wrong and they grab it and rip your arm off? Obviously, they're gonna say, well, I didn't know. Then don't grab it, people. You know what I mean? If you don't know somebody, if you don't know what's going on in the situation, Why are you asserting yourself in this sort of way? Then she went up to the front of the line and asked some young boys that were first in line and getting ready to order if she could cut in front. They of course said no, and then a fat, sleazy guy in a cyan shirt started aggressively telling them that she was a handicapped woman. She started saying the same, and then she turned to me and literally yelled over the entire line, "That's why I grabbed you by the arm, because I have a handicap with my leg and I can't pull myself up." Lady, you can figure out a way to fix that for yourself. That is not everybody else's problem to solve. You can have a cane. You can have like a different way that you get in. You can have that cyan guy come over and help you up. You don't just grab at people. That's not even remotely. I don't even know if I want to read the rest of this. I don't think it matters. You're not the asshole. She's very much the asshole. Keep in mind that it never did occur to me to the lady to give me a heads up or even look at me when she yoinked me. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter, does it? So I yelled back, "Yeah, I get it, but you can't at least say something when you do it?" No! It's not even for her to... No, I don't get it. I don't care if you're disabled, because you should be the one solving those problems, not me. If you need something from somebody, you can at least ask nicely. At least. Yeah, I'm not reading the rest of this. That one pisses me off. Am I the asshole for not returning what my neighbors dropped in my house? I, 24 female, live in the first floor of a small building. All of the first floor apartments have an outdoor area like a balcony. It's quite spacious, but it's not very usable to me and just ends up being more space to clean. The other apartments above mine don't have a balcony. I've been living here for 3 years, and for the past 2 years I've had an upstairs neighbor that makes a lot of noise all the time, but I genuinely don't bother over it. Okay, so already, immediately, you don't like them. And I know that you say, "Oh, well, it doesn't bother me." Why are you bringing up that they make a lot of noise if you don't think about them making a lot of noise? You know what I mean? Like, you want other people to know when you're writing this story that those people make a lot of noise, because you want other people to judge those people for making a lot of noise, but you don't care. But genuinely, it doesn't bother you. So why is it even in the post? You know what I mean? The real problem is I constantly get home to find pieces of clothing, plastic bags, empty cans of cleaning product, hangers on my balcony. Since they have no balcony, my upstairs neighbors dry their clothes by hanging them near the window, and, most probably, the wind or themselves knock the clothes over into my apartment. I don't really need to know the rest of the context. It's their fault. Whenever it falls out of their window, that is public property. You know what I mean? If they don't want their clothes to escape, they should spend more time doing something on that. Because the moment it goes out the window, it doesn't matter if it went to somebody's house, you know. It doesn't matter if it went into the street. It doesn't even fucking matter if it went into a fire. It just does not matter where it went, because you should have taken care of it. Because it was your space, it was your things. No, this person's not an asshole for not returning things. That being said, I'll continue. For the first few times, I was completely fine with it. I picked them up, put them in a plastic bag, and went to their apartment to hand it over. And I told them that it was no problem, that whenever that happened, they were free to knock on my door and ask for their things. I was expecting a couple of things from this. One, that they would become more aware, if they were not already, that things were falling from their apartment into mine, and that they would be more careful when putting things near the window. Two, that they would be the ones that would make the move to retrieve things that had fallen, and that it's not my priority to gather them and deliver them back. I mean, number one is unfounded, because I told them so that they would become more aware. You're giving them an out to say, "Oh, well, I'll bring it back to you. Even if you fuck it up, I'll bring it back to you. All you have to do is just come knock on my door," right? And two is valid. If they come and knock on your door, they'll get their stuff back. If they don't, they don't. Well, Nothing changed at all throughout those 2 years. Every so often I come home to underwear, dishclothes, and trash bags on my balcony. Usually I put them in a trash bag and keep them there until my neighbor asks if they can come pick them up. But this always takes weeks for them to do it. I got tired of it. I'll no longer pick them up and I'll let it lay on the floor, and I absolutely believe I have no responsibility in returning them. Picking them up and going upstairs to hand them back. It's their belongings and they should be the ones to retrieve and apologize, right? At the same time, it bothers me so much to have strangers' underwear lying on my balcony. Like, I would be mortified if I was them. I don't know what to do if I'm being an asshole over nothing. I don't know how to properly navigate this situation. I got so frustrated at one point, I genuinely wanted to throw it away with my trash, but I didn't, which I think is definitely for the best. Here's the thing, it's not your responsibility. Like I said, if it leaves their window, doesn't matter what happens to it after that point. It hits your balcony, that's a shame. It goes in the trash, you know what I mean? And it's not even that you're like being an asshole by throwing it away, because it is very obvious that it is their problem to solve, not yours. So these random people you don't even know, you're trying to solve their problems for them, and they're going to let you. Am I the asshole for telling my boyfriend he was rude for not fixing my tire? Yesterday, I, 22 female, was having really bad cramps at work, and by the time they got off, they were pretty bad. On my way back, my tire blew out. I pulled over and realized I was right by my boyfriend's exit, like a couple minutes from his place. I called AAA and they said it would be about an hour, but it ended up being about an hour and a half due to traffic. So I called my boyfriend, 24 male. I told him what happened and that I felt really sick from the cramps. I told him I was basically hunched over in my seat and asked if he would come help me. He knows how to change a tire, and I have a spare in my trunk. He said he had just gotten home and was in the middle of a game with his friends. He said since AAA was already on the way, I'd probably be okay waiting. Oh, that's really hard. That's really hard for me. Because, first and foremost, he's kind of right in the sense that, yeah, if you just sit around, it'll get resolved. But what he's not taking into account is your stress, how stressed you are. If this is a big problem for you, this usually what I call it is I call it 1 from 10. If this is a 10 for you right now, then I will get up. It doesn't matter what's happening. I'll get up and I'll go and get you, even if somebody's gonna come fix it soon. I will come and stand with you if that will make you feel better. But you need to articulate when something is not going to be okay. So yeah, I could see myself getting home and being like, oh, well, I'm in a game with my friends. And if you say, okay, and then I'm the asshole whenever I didn't know that that was a problem for you when it seemed like it was already resolved. You know what I mean? Because it's easy to paint one side in a light and the other side in another light. It's hard to kind of understand both sides. I kind of get his side in this scenario so far. Let's see how it goes. I said I understood, but told him I was in a lot of pain and asked if he could come after the game then, since I was still going to be there a while. Boom. That's all I needed. Literally. Does not matter. If you're in pain, if you're stressed out, I'm gonna leave the middle of the game. I'm just gonna leave in the middle of the game. I don't care. It's not really that big a deal. And that's because people stressing out, people having a bad day, people feeling like shit matters more to me than, oh, well, I had this game to play. He kind of paused and then said he probably couldn't, that he was planning to just stay on with his friends for the night and didn't really want to go back out. He's definitely an asshole because he thinks that it's not really that big a deal. She is stating otherwise, and he's still like, well, I'm just gonna stay with my friends. I don't really care if you're in pain. You know what I mean? So like, yeah, that is an asshole thing to do, even if technically it wasn't anything to do with you. Whenever it's your girlfriend who's having an issue, I think that kind of changes the rules a little bit. You know what I mean? I got upset and I told him I was stuck on the side of the road in a lot of pain and that it would take 20 minutes to come help me, and I could be on my way instead of sitting there for a super long time. He said he gets that, but AAA was already coming and he didn't think it made sense for him to come out. It doesn't matter whether or not it makes sense. And He's doing exactly like he's doing the guy thing where he's like, well, yes, physically the problem is already solved. Here's the issue. You don't give a shit about the person that you say you give a shit about. If this is your girlfriend, if he is your boyfriend, then there is an expected amount of loyalty involved. At least for me. I'm married personally. Whenever my wife says something's wrong, I'm gonna ask her, hey, do you need help? Do you want me to help you? A lot of times it's no, I'm fine, I got it. Sometimes if it's yes, I will go out of my way to try to help. Because that's what you do for a significant other. And in this scenario, he really failed that. And now, any sort of respect that he had built, any repertoire with her, it's gone. She's like, whenever I feel like shit, whenever I'm having a bad day, you are not going to give a shit. You don't care about me. So like, I hope that game was very much worth it to him, because he might be out a girlfriend. I waited for a while and texted him again later saying I still feel even worse, and asking if he was sure he couldn't come, even just to help me real quick. You're not going to get an answer from him that's going to satisfy you. He's going to say, well, I already said it's fine. And then you're going to feel even worse because you thought that maybe he had maybe it was a mistake. Maybe he didn't mean it. Maybe he thought it was something else. No, he knew exactly what he was doing and he just didn't want to. He said he didn't think it was necessary and that I'd be fine waiting. I ended up sitting there for an hour and a half total before AAA finally came. My cramps were still awful and I just felt kind of miserable and alone the whole time. There it is, alone. Wow. Surprise, surprise. Somebody who was stressed out and didn't feel good wanted somebody that they care about to be close to them. That's crazy. Later, he texted me if I got home. Okay, I had said yeah, but I was kind of upset he didn't come. He said he thought it wasn't a big deal since I wasn't in danger and there was already a plan. Once again, yes, however, if somebody is stressed out, you should probably help them. You should probably care about them if there's somebody that you care about. It wasn't ever about the car being broken. It was about her not feeling well, and you did not care enough to come help her when she didn't feel well. It doesn't have anything to do with the car. You can just come over and bring Midol and just stand there. You don't have to fix the tire. It's not about the tire. It's just about somebody being there whenever they're in distress. I told him it would still have meant a lot if he came, especially since he could have helped me fix it way faster and because I felt really bad physically. He said he understands that now, but at the time didn't think it was necessary. I told him I would have never left him in a situation like that and that I had just felt uncared for and that he was super mean. He told me I was overreacting and being annoying and we haven't spoke since, and that is exactly how you lose a girlfriend. He told me I was overreacting and being annoying. God forbid you have emotions. God forbid you have problems. God forbid you exist in the same frame that this person exists. Because obviously they believe that life is transactional. They believe that they do things to get things. And whenever they do shit like this, it becomes more and more clear over time that that is exactly how they feel. They're not worried about you, they're only worried about themselves. They don't care about what's happening with your life, they only care about what's happening with their life. So if you can do something for them, they're your best friend. If you need something, die. He's absolutely the asshole. At first I could kind of understand. It was slow progression up the asshole trail. At the very end saying, oh, well, you're overreacting. You don't get a girlfriend anymore. That's all I got for today. You guys have a nice one. Bye-bye.